But let's go ahead and talk about the highlight of the weekend, which was NXT Stand and Deliver. Although it did start off with a bit of a low light for me because I feel like the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Eliminator match, it should have been on the main show. I don't understand why it wasn't. It doesn't make any sense for it not to be, especially when your women's tag division is already kind of in shambles as is. You don't have Asuka back, so you don't have the Kabuki Warriors. You don't really have Chelsea and Piper anymore because obviously Chelsea is a singles star now, and then Piper and Alba Fire, we don't know what they're going to look like in a tag team. So your women's tag division is kind of in shambles right now. You had potentially 4 women's tag teams right here with Roxanne and Cora, Lash Legends Jakara Jackson, aka the Meta Girls. You had Fatal Influence with JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. This one was JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And then you had Tatum Paxley and Shotzi. I don't know their exact name. I think it's like Chemistry X or Chemical X, something like that. One of the two. You had 4 women's tag teams right here that could easily boost the division, yet you didn't want to put them on Stand and Deliver so everybody could see them. It doesn't really make much sense to me not to do that. I would have done that, especially because they went out there and just balled the heck out. This match was just absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. And that pop rocks that Roxanne Perez hit on Lash Legend was a thing of beauty. For anybody wondering how would she hit a pop rocks on anybody bigger than her and it actually looked believable, there you go right there. That one was absolutely beautiful. Tatum was the MVP of the night. Tatum and Lash Legend were the co-MVPs of the night. But I will say I'm pretty confused on the winner now because I guess I'm just going to spoil this. Liv and Raquel lost their belts, and I was assuming that they were going to be winning their belts, but they lost them to Becky Lynch and to Lyra. So if you have a face team winning, I mean, I guess, Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, at least Tatum has, history with Lyra, so it will be a pretty interesting match. Sadly, though, we're just getting the match immediately. It's not like a 2-week buildup at least. It's just going right into it. There's going to be like cool little story elements there at least, so I'm not too mad about that. But I feel like I probably would have had one of your other teams that's been working a lot harder this year. More so the Meta Girls have won because I feel like this would have been a really big moment for them to get this big match against one Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. I feel like this would have been a really big moment for Fatal Influence as well. But I am super happy for Gigi Dolan because she's somebody that when she was paired with JC Jane, when it was still Toxic Attraction, they were doing really good in NXT. They had a tag team match after Sasha and Naomi had left. It was like a tag team tournament where the winner was going to be the next women's tag team champions. And I do feel like Gigi and JC were going to win that match, but Gigi ended up getting hurt. So I really am happy for Gigi Dolan to get, another shot at this belt. Does suck that obviously she's not gonna win the match. If it was still Liv and Raquel, I would have had a lot of money on Gigi and Tatum Paxley because man, do these two look so good, especially Tatum Paxley. She is coming along so well. She looks phenomenal right now, man. I can see a really big singles push for her coming real soon. Well, maybe not a singles push. I think she'll start be. I think she'll still be in the tag team for a little bit, but when she does get that singles push, this character that she has, it's absolutely phenomenal. I love it for her. I also did like the moment with Roxanne and Cora. I didn't fully love it. I think it could have been just a bit better, and I don't really know if this breakup was actually needed. If this was the big payoff that Roxanne was going to be missing the main show, Stand and Deliver, and WrestleMania, and her payoff was another feud with Cora Jade, I don't really like it too much because I feel like whenever you do these never-ending feuds like Randy and Cena, KO and Sammy, Roman and Seth, etc., they all have, at least wrestlers within the same ballpark as each other. I don't think Cora Jade is in the same ballpark as Roxanne Perez. I think Cora Jade has potential to one day, get to where Roxanne Perez is, but right now I don't see that being the case. And it's like, it's going to be heel versus heel because you're not putting Cora Jade into a face. You're not turning Roxanne into a face, especially after dipping out on Cora Jade. You can make the claim that maybe just Roxanne feels like she's being underused and underappreciated, and that's why she walked out because she feels like she should have been on the main show and not the pre-show. She shouldn't have to be in a tag team match and all this stuff because she's already proven that she's a star within that single division, within that women's division. So you can go that route with it. I don't necessarily dislike it, though. I feel like for Roxanne, this is not the feud you needed going onto the main roster. I feel like it needed to be a much bigger feud. Again, her and Cora do have a lot of history with each other, a lot of chemistry with each other, so the feud and the match are going to be great. I just don't like the never-ending feud for Roxanne, though, with Cora, because like I said, Cora's not in her ballpark. If Roxanne's going up this year, I think Cora goes up within 2-3 years. I don't think she's ready this year to go up. I don't think she's going to be ready next year to go up either, because she still has a whole lot to improve on. That ring work, the mic work, the character work, all of it, charisma, all of it still is not at a main roster level, in my opinion. But I'm not the most mad about it, because at least you're giving Roxanne something. I do believe Roxanne will put Cora Jade over, or maybe even try to, like, quote unquote, bury her the way John Cena buries talent. I think Roxanne could end up doing that, and then she gets a big win going up to the main roster. Maybe she does go feud with Lyra Valkyria and get the IC title from her. Not really sure how they're going to do all that stuff, but I did love this match overall. I wish it would have opened Stand and Deliver. That's the only reason why I would give it a bit lower rating, because it's like, at a time where we say your women's division is in shambles because the way you're booking it, and you say your NXT superstar of the year, male or female, was Roxanne Perez, you have a fatal 4-way tag team eliminator eliminator match, and you don't put it on the main show when it easily could have been, doesn't make any sense to me at all, especially when the opening for Stand and Deliver was not that good. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints felt like a hey AEW, look at your former guys, they're on a big show and one of them has a title and we have them in the opener for everybody to see them. It wasn't a good opener, in my opinion. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. I think Ethan Page and Ricky Saints had a pretty dang good match. Was not a good opener. I would have took the fatal four-way tag team eliminator match as the opener. I would have took the women's ladder match as the opener. I would have taken the women's fatal four-way as the opener. I would have taken the tag team match as the opener. I would have even taken Dark State and the D'Angelo family as the opener. Anything else would have been better than the opener than this match. It should have been in the middle of the card. It did not need to be the opener. I'm sorry. Good match. Not bad by any means. Just was not it. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Eliminator match, I would probably give like a 3.5 out of 5 just because it wasn't the opener and it wasn't on the card. The Ethan Page, Ricky Saints match, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5 because of the fact that it was the opener. Again, it would have been a 3 out of 5 regardless of if it was the opener or not. But because it was the opener, I'm dropping it half a point. The next match we had on the card, though, this was the Fraction versus Hank and Tank match. I loved it. Thought it was absolutely amazing. Wrong winners, in my opinion. No Quarter Catch Crews, Tavion Heights, and Miles Bourne should have got this. Miles Bourne has been getting over a lot with the whole Randy Orton's, you're not Randy Orton's kind of thing. And then Tavion Heights is just absolutely phenomenal. Went to New Japan, or I think he went to Noah, and then came back and just looked like an absolute star within that tag division. I feel like this would have been a really great moment to put this tag team over. I do like Hank and Tank, but I feel like Hank and Tank are an NXT tag team. I don't think they're going to get over on the main roster the way that they're over in NXT. I do really like them, though. I think they're a very, very good team. I just don't see WWE using this kind of team on its main roster. It doesn't feel like a team that Triple H would want to use, in my opinion, that TKO is going to want, to be a prominent tag team in that division. It feels like they're going to be very Alpha Academy-esque, where it's like they look good, everybody should like them, but a lot of people just don't really care for them because they feel like jobbers. And that's how I kind of look at Hank and Tank. I love the win for them because it's been pretty, it's been a pretty big build-up for these guys, really just getting over out there struggling for a minute now. I just don't like the win. I feel like it should have been Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. I feel like No Quarter Catch Crew has come along so much this year. Charlie Dempsey got the Heritage Cup. It would have been really cool to see these guys get that, big win. They had a really big match against Fraction where they did almost win. I don't think they ever got a rematch after that, but they came so dang close, and I would have loved to have seen them go over at Stand and Deliver. I feel like these guys would have been able to carry the tag division going forward. Hank and Tank, I just don't think they're going to carry the tag division going forward. I don't like it. I don't really like them on the mic either. I think they're decent, but I don't think that they're just what was needed to get the tag division. It's not like Roman going to Cody, where I feel like Roman had this historic reign. Cody's going to have a pretty damn good one. Did he have a historic reign? No, not by any means. But this will be like going from Roman to like Jey Uso, where it's like, I don't think Jey Uso would have carried anywhere near as good as Cody. I think he probably would have lost the belt within like 2-3 months. And I feel like I feel like Hank and Tank are probably going to lose these belts within like a month or two, because I just don't see them being able to make the tag division as interesting as a Miles Bourne and a Tavion Heights, because everybody right now is in love with how damn good Tavion Heights is and how much Miles Bourne does kind of look like Randy Orton. So yeah, I feel like this, I love the match. 4 out of 5. I'm not gonna just grade it differently because Tavion and Miles didn't get the win, because those are my picks. I'm not gonna grade it any differently because Hank and Tank did go out there and look like an absolutely amazing tag team, because that's what they've been doing every single week. They look like a really damn good tag team, and I do hope that I'm wrong about them in the future and that WWE does actually use these guys, because I would really love to see these guys be stars. I would love to see a bit of a different thing from WWE when it comes to picking who their guys are. And it's not just the ones that have like that WWE look. It's the ones that from NXT that were superstars in NXT, came up and had actually successful main roster careers. So I would love for these guys to get it. I just know WWE. Also for Fraxium, I do understand that it was time to probably get the belts off of them. You want to get them up to the main roster now. I'm just worried bringing them up to the main roster, because we just seen what happened with New Day and War Raiders, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. If this is the division that they're going to come up to, which is the Raw Tag Team division, I'm scared for them, man. There's nothing there. There is absolutely nothing there. LWO is whatever. I don't really care for the group, and Rey Mysterio's hurt now. Who knows on how long he's going to be out. I mean, Cruz Del Toro and Joaquin Wilde are a great tag team, and they're going to have a great match against Fraxium, but it's just like, ugh. And then War Raiders, they clearly don't care about them. The Creed brothers are going to put on a phenomenal match with Fraxium, and New Day's going to put on a phenomenal match with Fraxium if they allow New Day to be, the great tag team that they are. I just don't like them going up to the main roster right now, especially if they are going to Raw. I really wish we would just unify the tag belts on the main roster so that it goes between SmackDown and Raw instead of just being on one show. I feel like instead of being on both shows, I feel like it'd be much better. The tag division would look better overall. They're probably not going to do that anytime soon, though. So for Fraxium, I am just a bit worried. I will say that. I'm just a bit worried about their success going forward, because I'm afraid that if they go to Raw, it's not going to be good for them. They're going to get lost, and I would hate that, because Nathan Frazier and Axiom are some of the best wrestlers on the dang roster. This tag team is one of the best tag teams in the world right now. They're absolutely awesome, and I don't want to see them get broken up either, because I feel like it's just way too soon. I would have them be on the main roster for at least like another year or two as a tag team, so we can eventually get Penta and Rey Fenix versus Fraxium. That match is going to absolutely cook. I would love to see them versus I would love to see Fraxium versus Lucha Bros, Fraxium versus DIY, Fraxium versus MCMG, Fraxium versus Street Profits, Fraxium versus Creed Brothers is going to be a really dang good one too. I would love to see all these matches, so I hope they don't break up anytime soon. Next up, we had the women's North American title match, which was Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan, I'm blanking on names, Lola Vice, Thea Hale, Sol Ruka, and I know I'm blanking on one other. Oh, who is that other name? I'm blanking on her. And Zarya. I don't know how the heck I forgot her name. She's in a tag team with Sol Ruka. Had a really big moment with Sol Ruka towards the end as well. I absolutely love this match. 3.5 out of 5. I thought everything that I needed from a ladder match, I basically got it. A few big spots here and there would have been really great from the rest of the women. I feel like Sol Ruka definitely was the star of this match. And it does feel like the theme of this WrestleMania was showing off like one or two people, one person if it's a singles match, two people if it's potentially a multi-person match, although one of them only really showed off one. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But I feel like the theme of it was just showing off one to two people, and I really did see a lot from Sol Ruka. I will give Thea Hale her props as well, because I think that she definitely did do her thing in this match. But this definitely was a Sol Ruka get all eyes on her party. And towards the end, she looked absolutely phenomenal when she was on the ladder, picked herself up a bit, and then kicked Zarya off the ladder while she was basically upside down. Not Zarya, but Sol Ruka. And then Izzy Dame tries to pull her off the ladder. Sol Ruka goes for the Soul Snatcher off the ladder to Izzy Dame. Then she runs up. She does like the she jumps from the middle rope to the top rope, and then hits a top rope double soul snatcher to Thea Hale and Lola Vice. Absolutely amazing moment. I even loved like the little camera shot after Sol Ruca got the belt where Thea Hale is just looking at her and she's like very disappointed in the fact that she lost. I was making a bunch of jokes about Thea Hale joining Dark State while watching this match. I don't think she's going to join Dark State by any means, but I do believe that she is going to have probably a bit of a heel turn, if not a full-on heel turn. I think she's going to be one of Sol Ruca's first opponents because she did look really upset, especially after she just came back and got the big win and the what is it called, the contenders match, whatever the heck you want to call it. She was the number one, she was the contender for the freaking match. She was able to get into it. She did look pretty dang mad. So I'm assuming that she will be the first one for Sol Ruca. I think Kalani Jordan will be afterwards. We might even get a Lola Vice match in there. We might get an Izzy Dame match in there. And I'm assuming this all ends with Sol Ruca getting dethroned by Zarya. They're going to finally break those two up. I don't really like them as a tag team. I think they're really good individually. I think as a tag team, they look good because they're just both pretty good wrestlers. I don't think they're pretty good tag team wrestlers, though. So I do think this will end with Zarya probably turning on Sol Ruca. I don't think they're going to turn Sol Ruca heel by any means. I think that she's really over with the crowd. The crowd loves her a lot. She got a big ovation when she won. Everybody was super happy when she was climbing up the ladder. And a lot of the other girls, a lot of the other women, my bad, were, they were getting cheered, but it really felt like everybody wanted Sol Ruca to get this win. So I'm happy for Sol Ruca. I would love to see what's going to go forward with her. I think that she could, eventually get that NXT Women's Championship someday. She just looked absolutely phenomenal. She really said, what torn ACL? This woman was out here just balling the heck out, looking like Game 6 LeBron against the Celtics. My goodness, man, was she doing her thing. So shout out to Sol Ruca, man. I really did love this match, and I actually do wish that this match opened up the show because I feel like it just would have been a lot better in Ash's opinion. But next up, though, we do got to talk about the D'Angelo family versus Dark State. I really did like the match. Once again, kind of a one-person showing out match as Tony D'Angelo just was going off in this match once he got into it. He looked absolutely phenomenal. Even on the outside when he wasn't in the match, just, the disappointment, or not really disappointment, but like the frustration with Channing Stacks and how he was going against the plan and all that stuff. That's kind of been the whole thing between him and Stacks for a minute now. I really did love that as well. And obviously we finally got the big payoff of Stacks turning on one Tony D'Angelo. And I think this is going to be perfect for both of these guys going forward because Tony D is going to get a really big feud before he does leave NXT. And I know I just said, okay, well, what about like Roxanne and Cora? I didn't really like that. For this one, it's just a bit different because Tony hasn't had a big feud. Roxanne's had multiple big feuds, and she's also had big feuds with Cora already. I feel like Tony does need this really big storyline going up to the main roster so we can see what Tony looks like away from the family. This is going to be really good for him. I think that this was needed for him because he's going up to the main roster pretty soon. I think by sometime within the next 2-3 months, he's going to the main roster after this whole storyline with Channing Stacks is over. And that's great because the rest of these guys were not going up to the main roster anytime soon. Rizzo, Stacks, all them. It's just they're not ready yet. I think they need about another 2 years on NXT. Tony D, though, we're not keeping this man in NXT any longer. For a lot of people that said that he does not look that good, I think you were just upset with the fact that Tony dethroned Oba. I don't think you really think that Tony is bad by any means because I think he's one of my favorites in NXT right now. The mic work, the character work, the ring work, he's got all of that. He's a guy that really does have a lot of great charisma as well, especially on the mic. He's just able to draw you into all his promos. He's really able to keep a lot of attention. He plays this Don character so well that I do hope that they keep this character when they go to the main roster. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. They could do it similar to Andre Chase when he lost his, his university, but at least give it a lot more attention because I feel like Tony can be a big-time player in that mid-card scene, within that US IC scene. I think he could go up right now and potentially, within like the next year or so, probably get one of those 2 titles. Probably not the US title because I do think that Jacob Fatu is going to be holding that for about a damn year. And I don't want to take the IC title from Dominic Mysterio anytime soon because, gosh, did I love that moment for Dom. But I think for Channing Stacks, though, this is also going to do a lot for him because he does have a lot of potential, but he needed to kind of be in a leadership role now where we can see, can you lead storylines the way that Tony was leading storylines? Can you do this? Because Tony was doing it really damn good. Stacks, you got the wrestling ability, you got the mic work, it does need to obviously improve a bit, but you got it. Now, can you be a leader? Can you look believable as a leader? And I think Stacks will. I think Stacks is a really talented dude. I think he has a lot to be one of those big time players within NXT, and especially right now where you have Obafemi who's going to need opponents, Ricky Saints is going to need opponents. Channing Stacks can be one of the guys to be an opponent to one of these two guys. He's obviously not going to be joining Dark State. That does not look like it's going to be a thing. It looks like he's going to probably take over the family. I'm interested to see what is going to be his reasoning for this, because he didn't say anything about Dark State or anything like that. He just said, I'll talk to you when I can talk to you. We're going to meet up somewhere. And I'm interested to see where this goes, because this storyline looks like it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. NXT does struggle with storylines, so this one right here is going to be a pretty fun one because we don't get many great ones in NXT. I'm super excited for this one. Next up, we had the Women's Fatal 4-Way, correct? We had the Women's Fatal 4-Way, and I'm going to be honest with you, this match disappointed in my opinion. I give it a 2 out of 5. The only reason I do is because it felt like a spot fest. It felt like a bunch of just signatures towards the end and all that stuff, and let's all start hitting our finishers. And nobody looked good, really like good in this match. I felt like Julia had to slow down for Stephanie. I feel like Julia and Stephanie had to slow down for Jordynne Grace. And I feel like all three of those women had to slow down even more for Jada Parker, which is why I don't get why Jada Parker was in this match to begin with. I don't think that she was able to keep up with these women. I would not have had her in this match. I feel like it kind of just it took away the whole fluidity of this match, and I feel like a lot of these women just did not have any kind of chemistry with each other either, except for Julia and Stephanie. I feel like Julia and Jordan, Stephanie and Jordan, Julia and Jada, Stephanie and Jada. I feel like Jordan and Jada didn't even really have much chemistry with each other either. This match just felt like, let's grab our 3 big signees and one of our, futures of NXT, and let's put them on Stand and Deliver, because we just need to do something with all 4 of these women. And that's kind of like the theme of this whole entire weekend, was get all of our stars into this dang show somehow, some way. And it's like, I feel like it kind of messed up some of the moments and some of the matches. This one definitely was affected by it. It wasn't a bad match by any means, because there were moments where it looked really good. I know I said a 2 out of 5. That's like barely below average. It did not look the greatest for a lot of the women that you probably should have been showing off. Like, I feel like Jordynne Grace just kind of looked like whatever in this match. Julia just looked like whatever in this match. Nobody really stood out in this match, and that's the bad thing, is that, like I said, the theme felt like, you're showing off 1 or 2 people. Who was being shown off in this match? It damn sure wasn't Julia. She didn't look like elite by any means. It wasn't Jordynne Grace, your big signee. She didn't look elite by any means. She looked better in the one-on-one match against Roxanne Perez. She looked better in the one-on-one match against, what was that, Jada Parker? Yeah, she looked better in that one-on-one match. She looked like she had more chemistry in that one-on-one match. It feels like it feels like either A, these women were just exhausted because of how early Stand and Deliver was, which I definitely could believe, or B, because this match was so last second, they didn't really have much time to ever really work on the match, and that's why they didn't have much chemistry, and it's why this match didn't look as fluid as it should have. I do think it's a good mixture of the two, which is why I hope next year Stand and Deliver probably gets its own night. I would love to see it be on maybe Friday. I know they want to get like that whole weekend because of the fact that, everybody's home and all that stuff, so you get the most amount of viewers. I just personally don't like the fact that it's in the same time. I mean, it's on the same day as WrestleMania Night 1. So either A, WrestleMania goes back to one night and it's all on Sunday, or B, you just put NXT Stand and Deliver a week before or a day before. I would even like a week before, to be honest. That would be much better in my opinion. Let's go ahead and get on to the last match, Stand and Deliver, which was Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams. Phenomenal match. One of the best triple threat matches of all time. Obafemi is now in 2 of the best triple threat matches of all time, and he just stamped it. He's going to be a WrestleMania main eventer within the next couple of years. This guy looked like an absolute just superstar in this match. And this match was really a great showcase of all 3 talents, not even just Oba, because Javon Evans was a dog. He balled the hell out. He took whatever was said to him personal, because right from the jump, he hit this crazy, or he tried hitting the crazy springboard cutter. He got so damn high in the air, tricking Trick and Oba really just kind of sunned him at that moment and just countered him and said, get the hell out of the ring. Took him out multiple times. I will even say that Trick Williams looked a lot better in this match than he had looked in really any other match. And if Trick Williams is going to go to the main roster now, this was a great way to go to the main roster with an absolutely 5-star classic match. Everybody will forget about all the bad matches you had now because this one match right here, I'm going to be real with you, I think Trick Williams can go to the main roster now because he was able to put on this kind of match. I know it sounds crazy to say that like one match makes up for everything, but it really does because it was in the main event. It was in everybody's eyes was on you and you did not mess up, especially when you have people like myself and multiple other people saying that Trick Williams is going to make or break this match. If he looks at least good enough, the match is going to be 5-star. If he doesn't, the match might not be that dang good. And honestly, Trick had a lot of pressure on him too because Javon Evans was basically put into this match because Trick, you can't do your job. We don't believe you're going to have a great match against Obafemi. And he went out there and he did miss a few little spots here and there, but for the most part, Trick Williams looked pretty damn good as well. Javon Evans obviously was the star of this match. He just had a coming out show. He was able to put everybody on notice that he's going to be a future face of NXT, that he might even be a future face of WWE. He gets the mic work and the character work up. This dude is going to just be an absolute superstar. This match, 5 out of 5. Arguably one of the best just stand and deliver takeover matches. I'm going to kind of put them together because it just makes a lot of sense to put them together. One of the best just stand and deliver takeover matches of all dang time. Shout out to Javon. Shout out to Oba. Shout out to Trick. Really love this damn match from start to finish. I was not bored with it by any means. I constantly caught myself saying, how the are you even doing that, Javon? And then that moment where Oba just grabbed him by his neck when he came down the frog splash, hit him with the power bomb. My gosh, man. Oba, he's the only guy that could do that. I'm going to be real with you, man. He's the only guy that could no-sell that. Well, I guess, quote unquote, no-sell that and then just power bomb somebody after a frog splash. Absolutely nasty work from Obafemi. And like I said, man, I know I was pretty critical of Trick a few episodes ago, but I'm also a person of my word that if you do look better in this match, I will give you your props, and I have to give Trick Williams his props because I am not a bitch. I am going to be a person of my word and salute to Trick Williams. Shout out to Obafemi, Javon Evans, 5-star classic, one of the greatest triple threat matches I have ever seen. I'm so happy that Stand Deliver was at least a great enough show. Overall, I would give it about a 3.5 out of 5. I feel like the women's fatal 4-way and the opener, had they just been a lot better, and had that opener not been the opener and it was the women's ladder match or the fatal 4-way tag team eliminator match, this would have been a 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 PLE, probably a 4 out of 5 at the highest. But this one was definitely the highlight of the weekend because let's go ahead and talk about WrestleMania Night 1, shall we? Because, oh gosh.